Hi Empire Builders, Bill Pitcher here. This video a little bit different than some of the other ones I've done. My social media minute series is tightly scripted, very short, boom, boom, boom. This is just going to be rambling, and I can't promise that there's going to be anything of great insight or help to Empire Avenue. I just felt like recording some random thoughts, whatever they be. They will be sort of connected to social media and technology and Empire Avenue, though. So feel free to listen on or to bail. Anyway, I think that part of the reason I wanted to do this today is that social media, at least for those of us that didn't grow up talking into a webcam, takes practice. And it's not necessarily that you have to practice typing 140 character word messages or that sort of thing, but that you have to get in the habit of it, and that the more you do it, that the more natural it becomes, and the more opportunities you see to use social media. And some of it might be frivolous, some of it might be valuable. Perhaps by sometimes engaging in the frivolous, you'll learn to spot the valuable opportunities more often. So I took a picture of food that I bought today and posted it on Facebook. Not something that would have occurred to me 6 months ago. But again, just trying to find that natural way of doing that sort of thing. I feel that the easier all of these things come through practice, then you can sort of say, okay, well, which of these do I really want to maintain? Which of these are important? When an opportunity comes along, when you see something golden, I grab my iPhone and I video. I was going to say tape it. It's not tape, but that I capture it on video. Yeah, that's that. Now, it's been the feedback from doing all of this has been fascinating. I today got invited to submit a photo to a group, and that was the first time that I'd had that happen. Not a big deal, but just kind of neat, because I'd never been taking until Flickr came on board, Empire Avenue. I hadn't been taking shots that should appear anywhere other than amongst friends and family, capturing goofy moments or family moments, that sort of thing. So it's great. I do have a bit of an old shutterbug in me from years past, but I really hadn't done anything with it until recently. So it's great to get that kind of feedback. It's also, I've had people saying, hey, I'm really enjoying your photos, or I wish I could take pictures as well as you. And I have to tell you, that just kind of blows me away, because I just haven't been there. Anyway, thank you to those people. Another thing that was kind of interesting, some of you may have noticed that I posted on the blog about a site called One True Fan, and one of the things since joining Empire Avenue that I've kind of kept an eye on is sites that use game mechanics as part of their whole reason for being, and Foursquare is the most visible of those examples, but there's lots of others, and it's growing. And so that's One True Fan is, as I mentioned on the blog, is a site that is basically Foursquare for websites, where you check in with websites and you can be the one true fan on a website. I said I was interested in it, that I didn't know if it was really going to grab me or not in the post. And I said, but what do I know? And one of the developers of the site actually left a message, or I believe it was one of the developers. You start to realize that some of these things, something you say, sometimes quickly, that sort of thing, can have real consequence. And I found that interesting. It wasn't profound in terms of what the comment was and who it was coming from and that sort of thing, but it just reminds you that this is a public stage, and that's an important thing that we have to remember when we put those things out there. Very different image here today. I haven't even gotten around to getting out of my work clothes. being taped to my chair, and throwing both, kind of Goofy Bill and Serious Bill personas out there is an interesting thing, and I'm not always sure what's the right balance in that. One of the things that I found of great interest is I've worked hard on sometimes providing good social media content, content about social media, or content about Empire Avenue, the tips and discussion and news. But my most popular stuff has been the funny stuff that I've done. When you look at the number of views and the like that I get, it's whenever I kind of do something funny, and that's applied on Flickr, that's applied on YouTube as well. I don't even consider myself that practiced at being funny. How does that all fit in? If you were trying, like, as a, I think about companies, and I'm always thinking about how would this work for either my clients or for companies, and what's the role of humor. So I find that rather interesting. It's been a frustrating few days for me in another way, and that's that I had bought not that long ago a solid state hard drive, and they're supposed to be really reliable, and it totally crashed. It's under warranty and the like, so I haven't replaced it yet because I'm going through the whole warranty return process, which, guys, is you haven't made easy. But so I'm on an old backup hard drive, and man, is it so slow. And of course, there were things that I'd installed in the interim that weren't on it, and it's interesting. I've been using a lot of tools for the things I've been doing on Empire Avenue and elsewhere, and there was a lot to kind of get in place to get back there, and it's not quite set up as well. So. That and cars breaking down, and so taping videos at Canadian Tire and the like. Just interesting curveball, which, I don't think Empire Avenue, and I think Dupes and other folks would say, well, Empire Avenue doesn't have to take much time. You can just hook up to it and continue to do the rest of your social media. I guess that's true. I tend to spend a lot of time thanking people and buying shares back from people on there, so that takes time. But social media certainly takes time, and if I have a day like today where I was out with clients for a good chunk of the day, and had some chores to do after work, and then if there's anything else that you want to do when you come home, it's like really tricky feeding the beast. I think that if you're going to do social media and really create a strong presence, it's just this voracious monster that will just consume more and more content. You have a good day and you put up a video and you put up a cartoon and you post some Flickr pictures and the whole works, and tomorrow it's just sitting there waiting for more again. So something I want to give some thought to as to how my clients or companies who wouldn't have full-time people that they could, designate to this, how do you feed that beast, and how do you make it as seamless as possible into your day? And that's what I'm going back here. I said this was going to be rambling, to getting practiced with this, and really not only practiced, but how do you reduce the barriers? Like, how do you make it really simple to post a video or to post a picture, and make sure you're using all the tools that take away some of the work that's involved in doing that. So I find myself thinking about that. Another thing I think about, and part of the reason that I'm doing, whether it's these videos or this video or others, is how video and audio to a certain degree as well provide an opportunity for you to get a sense that you know somebody, at least a side of them, that you'll just never get in written communications. And I'm curious if anybody has any thoughts on that. Just if you've been somebody that's followed any of my video content, do you feel you have a different sense on me than maybe other people, that you don't get to have that kind of interaction or to see that aspect of them? And how does that impact things for you? Do you think that makes a difference? Again, I think about how this might apply in a more than just an Empire Avenue setting. What is the impact of video blogging or vlogging have in terms of getting to know people in an organization. So I hope you'll share some comments if you have them. You know, it's funny how I'm so into some of these things now. I was at the zoo today, did not have the opportunity because I was with people the whole time to sort of take a break, like a lunch break and that, and go take pictures. I was kind of hoping I was going to get some time. And there's still lots of animals. I had fun shooting the polar bears, and I'm looking forward to grabbing giraffes and elephants and the like. I didn't get to do it, so I truly have the bug. And having the new camera, I'm still really learning how to use it and making mistakes with it. You know, it's almost times like I want to pick up the old point and shoot because I made fewer mistakes. But so that was an interesting development, and there's been lots of tech news today, and I try to follow that and didn't get much opportunity. And this Facebook groups, what do you think of that? It's looks like just basically group chat and a Facebook page, because you can have that kind of interaction that it gives you. The group page is like a fan page, but it's got the chat feature as well. You know, I have to look more into it and see if there's anything that I've missed. Interesting that you can invite people to the group and that they're automatically a member of the group. I don't know if there's another thing there that you have to opt out of people being able to do that or not. That's going to cause consternation for a lot of folks, I would think. It'd be interesting to see how many groups we get, all of us get opted into. Speaking of groups, I should mention Flickr groups. I was talking about Flickr earlier. And if you are using Flickr and you want to sort of get more people to see your photos, check out groups. Groups are this weird and wacky thing because there's so many different kinds of them. Basically, you can take the topic of your photo, like let's say you took a picture of a bridge or a tree or a flower or a dog or whatever. There'll be a group for it, or geographic area, a color, you name it. And there's groups that have contests. There's groups that rate pictures, provide critiques on them, give you helpful advice. There's ones that help you identify animals, other ones that help you identify flowers. It is phenomenal what exists there, and I don't pretend to understand how they all work because they all set up. Some of them set up with fancy rules or ways that they do awards, and you can, if you win 3 awards, then go post it in this discussion board. So groups, the discussion boards on some groups are hyperactive and where more activity takes place than in the main photo pool. The more I look at Flickr, I realize how much is going on there. And I'd used Flickr in the past, and I'd even been a pro account member at one point in the past. But I didn't realize how much goes on, and how, if you are serious about photography, you can use it. So if you haven't done that, I really suggest you check it out. Anyway, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. I don't have any idea whether this has been of any interest or of any use, but I just thought I would create some more content and hope that I got a couple nuggets in there anyway. Well, that's it for now. I'm Bill Pitcher. Happy empire building.